Bangalore has earned a global reputation as India's Silicon Valley. It is a city defined by its tech parks, global innovation hubs, and sprawling corporate campuses. But the rapid physical expansion of this metropolis runs less on algorithms and entirely on raw human muscle. If you look past the corporate logos and glass facades, you find the daily wage workers who are actually assembling the skyline, piece by piece. Beneath the polished branding of a modern smart city lies a massive, invisible, and highly unregulated physical economy. For the informal construction worker, the day doesn't begin with a commute to a guaranteed job. It starts with a gamble at a roadside gathering point known as a Labor Chowk. Men gather here at dawn, bringing their own tools, waiting on the pavement, hoping a contractor will pull up and select them for a single day of work. There are no contracts signed here, there are no HR departments, no minimum wage guarantees, and absolutely no safety nets. The stakes are immediate. If a contractor doesn't point to you by 8 a.m., you don't earn a wage that day, and that usually means your family doesn't eat that night. The unstoppable growth of this tech capital relies entirely on the extreme financial uncertainty of the people building it. For those who do get selected, the reality of the work is grueling. A standard shift runs 12 to 13 hours under the intense heat of the Indian sun, with minimal breaks. The physical expectations are severe. Workers routinely transport massive loads of raw materials, often balancing 70 pounds of brick or cement entirely by hand. And they are doing this while operating heavy machinery and power tools high above the ground, almost completely without standard safety harnesses or protective gear. This chart compares the average daily wage for this extreme labor, around 400 to 600 rupees, or roughly 5 to 7 US dollars, against the baseline cost of keeping a family alive in Bangalore. The math is exceptionally tight. If you take a day off to rest, or if you get injured on the site and can't work, your income instantly drops to zero. Your rent and food costs, however, stay exactly the same. There is no legal recourse and no sick leave to cover the deficit. This compensation model creates a perfect trap. Workers must maintain a cycle of relentless physical exertion every single day just to hit the baseline of survival. When you look closely at these construction sites, you start to see two entirely separate economies occupying the exact same space. On one side, laborers balance on raw timber and rebar, breathing in dust to construct pristine glass environments they will never be allowed to enter once the doors officially open. These two worlds are often separated by just a few inches of glass, yet they remain entirely disconnected from one another. Inside, employees work toward annual bonuses, stock options, and retirement plans. Outside, the people building the office are working for tonight's dinner. The modern metropolis functions as a highly siloed ecosystem. One class trades their physical health to construct a utopia for another. When the sun drops and the 12-hour shift finally ends, the immediate heavy lifting stops, but the systemic hardship continues. Many of these workers migrate from rural villages and cannot afford local rent. Their housing is often the very site they are building, sleeping directly on the concrete floor, exposed to the elements. The evening involved a harsh calculation. They count the day's cash, buy provisions for the next meal, and realize there is nothing left over to put into a savings account. Every day is lived on a razor's edge. There is zero margin for an emergency, zero margin for illness, and no allowance for rest. So why do they do it? Why subject yourself to a cycle this brutal, day in and day out? If you ask them, the answer is rarely about their own lives. The focus is entirely on their families. They endure the destruction of their own bodies to pay for school fees. They are attempting to buy enough education for their children to ensure the next generation never has to stand at a labor chowk waiting for a contractor. The next time you look up at a skyline like Bangalore's, glowing against the night sky, consider what it actually took to put those lights up there. These towers are certainly feats of engineering and real estate, but they are also monuments built on invisible, profound human sacrifice. The city runs because they sweat. It's time we acknowledge and respect the hands that actually